let's see those team lineups.
Yes. Come on. Give us the juicy stuff. There we go. Right, so no surprises, 2 Montanas on both teams. This is a complete mirror match.
Interesting. I just make sure for myself, but my client seems to be stuck. There we go. Yeah, wow, yeah, complete mirror. Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh. Have we had a mirror match before? I don't think we
Not
have.
a total one. We've had some very close lineups go, and Hakuryu plus 2 Montanas has been a staple right the way through the tourney. The variation's normally been in the cruisers. But DM as Radar Mule, 2 Hindenburgs as battle line cruisers, Zhao as harasser, and a couple of gearings. Yeah, that is probably as close to an optimum configuration for this rule set as you're going to find. Oh, and for those of you interested in the camouflage that Stunt is deploying, that is the For the Win camo, and we'll be giving away some codes for 10 packs of that later on. For the moment, however, it's headbutting time. Boop, boop. Right, let's see what the teams are up to. OM on the south, Alliance on the north, and yeah, it's looking like what we expected from previous games on this map. I'm seeing an AC split from Odem Mortis here.
I'm seeing AC split from Alliance as well. Equal 4-4 split this time. Sometimes you see a 5-3, but this is 4-4.
And 5-3 is just what we're getting from OM at the moment. One gearing the Zhao and a Montana going east to sea. That'll be their delaying force. And the majority of it, the 2 Hindenburgs, the DM, the gearing, and the second Montana are going northwest up into A. Looks like the usual air collisions starting up in no man's land on the EF line. Interesting that OM have let that fighter squadron through. I wonder if they're playing a game to just let the team have a look at while they're going. We're suddenly going to see a course change. Or if it's just a case of, well, they're going to get something through, so can't really dodge it. But the air war's starting up. Looks like an early strafe there. And yep, there you go. Feld goes for the strafe, and Andrews 732 not trying to back strafe. Interesting. I wonder if he just missed the opportunity or was content to preserve his ammunition for later on.
Indeed. And if anyone's noticing Yuzral's voice dropping a little bit, don't worry, that's Discord having a moment.
Terrific. If it's still an issue, by the way, let us know in chat, and we have a second Discord server that we can switch to. Hopefully that will be a bit better. I was hearing some bandwidth problems earlier on from your side, so if it's the server hiccuping, that might well be the reason. Meanwhile, fighter collision again. Right, dogfight lock this time, and Feld's not going for the lock and strafe immediately. He's content to let that turn into a series of lock dogfights. Surprising that in that it basically goes for random number god, but both sides have got turbo bombers round the flanks, so in a sense the fighters are almost redundant at this point.
Yeah, a lot of Zhao's, Montana's trading shots with each other. Zhao gets away with just an overpen. Ice Cream's getting hits a lot harder.
Yeah,
a decent shot there.
Brief's taking a bit of early fire as well down south. No one on the OM side seems in any hurry to get into the control points, and on the one hand, you can understand why. We've seen far too many teams make a banzai charge and get wrecked early on. And in particular, look at the way that Feld has got his fighters deployed. Okay, one of his squadrons, that one in the middle, has taken a beating and will need to withdraw in a moment if it's not already gone. But we've got a Mexican standoff. Neither side wants to really move forward. Panics, they're just dodging a spread of torpedoes. Because if they do, they're going to end up spotted by planes and, well, blam. And in fact, Panics there is popping in smoke.
Your gearing there. Didn't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, and in fact, Panics, another tactic he's using here, is he's actually reversing into point C. So if things do go sideways, he is in a position to just slam the throttle full forward and make a very quick break for, well, the rest of his smoke cloud, because it's open water in that part of C. Point B, however, we have the second gearing of Salty Sailor Bell just tiptoeing his way in. Little tactical beach there just for quick detection. Again, no one's going charging into the middle of a control point, but both the OM destroyers have basically sent up flags saying free target here, and here come the torpedo bombers in C. Feld is probably looking for a blind drop.
Yeah, well, nothing on Alliance's side has any way to stop it in B. Obviously, the torpedo bombers are focusing around C. They're just going to let OM have B and just not contend with it. They've got nothing anywhere near. They're focusing very much on the 2-3 line and the 8-9 line. They're trying to go full on with the flanks and not care about the middle of the map.
Yeah.
Oh, and the DM's there anyway, so there's no point sending anything there anyway.
Exactly. And in fact, the DM, well, Odem Mortis' carrier is about to find out about that DM because he's flown his torpedo bombers into range. Farewell, guys. It was nice knowing ye. Although he might try to bait a defense fire there, and nah, there's one squadron gone. He won't pop DF unless the second squadron makes an attack approach, and they're on the wrong side. But ooh, Bozolamka again taking a hellish risk with his health pool there. He's down to half already, just getting behind that island. However, in point C, the strategy seems to be paying off for Alliance. They've managed to push panics out of the cap circle, their own gearing's in, and they've got that heavy, tight knotted ships.
Ooh, that was a big mistake. He took a torpedo in the bow there, in the stern. Just stopped still, didn't make any attempt to really dodge it. I don't know if he just miscalculated where that torpedo was going to hit, but I think he's down to nearly half health off a really trivial mistake there.
Yeah, I think maybe he just had a moment and miscalculated where the torpedo was going. Speaking of someone who frequently has a magnetic stern when playing this game, I can entirely sympathise. Lockenpower's on fire, and
he's going to take a torpedo here as well. Oh, it ran out.
Just ran out. All skill, no luck. Ilfil there, on the flank in the Zhao, and I think Icy Cream's had a few pot shots at him as well. Again, it's the aircraft that are providing the spotting for this, of course, but Alliance take point C. OM have got point B, but they've not pushed through. They're gearing under Salty Sailor Bell, had actually backed out, went round, and is now eyeing up point A and the safer southeastern approach. If he'd gone straight from B to C through that eastern channel, then of course he'd have come round the Mont Saint-Michel and would have been clear line of fire of, well, a gearing, a Montana, a DM, and yeah, that's why he went southeast. Not being blind.
Grief is getting incredibly focused here. He's down to about 30k health. He came under quite a lot of cruiser spam from Hindenburgs, and I believe the Montana as well was taken as well. He's taken a lot of early damage, although I imagine most of that is going to be healable if he's got the time.
Yes, and down in Hotel 5-6, Grief's also been feeling the pinch as well. He's down to 26,000 health. He's had to break away and disengage for a moment, and we'll see how much of that he can repair, because if he's taken Citadels, of course, that health ain't coming back.
Now Cohen's getting HE spammed by the Des Moines, although switched to Ethereum on the gearing now since he's been spotted by something. I'm going to assume a radar in play.
Possibly. Ethereum, however, has broken contact, so if he manages to dodge the random torpedo spread that's coming his way. Of course, Alliance have managed to grab point A, so they now have territory control. OM slightly ahead from their early cap advantage in B, but it may not last. We have torpedoes in the water against panics, but bad angle, bad drop.
Good torp dodge there. Safe.
Yeah. Panics also just threads the needle against the torpedo bombers, and as always with early game airstrikes, threw away a lot of bombers for relatively little damage. It's more about forcing people off control points and playing a position game with the bombers in this first half.
Icy takes a little bit of damage there. Nothing serious, but it's a little good shot from Lockenpower there.
Yeah.
Torpedo's coming into his way, but I think he's seen them and is slowing down in time.
Yeah.
Bryson needs to be a little careful that he doesn't pull the same mistake he did last time.
Algraconian pulls an easy torp dodge, so does Salty Sailor Bell. And the catch is, however, that has forced Sailor out of point A once again, and Sailor is spotted, and you can... Ooh! And that first snapshot rips off half his health, so he is left running for cover with a very angry DM guns onto him, but
Des Moines gets a big hit. I think that was a Grief that hit him. Something hit him pretty hard. He's down to 16k.
Boza overexposed there and is taking fire as a consequence, but given the angle, he's probably going to be able to get out of cover. The question is whether Salty Sailor is going to be able to break contact and get safe again. I think he's managed it, but he's going to have to be very careful about getting himself back into point A in time. trying to stop the rot. OM now
Grief is
33
making
points
some
down.
fantastic shots on this DM. He's just arcing the iron perfectly. Icy's Iceland's nearly dead.
Yeah, Grief, of
228
course, one of the better battleship drives in the game. Lock and Power's also taking a beating. Looks like both sides are trying to neutralise the other team's Montanas and the DMs as priority targets.
One HE shell and Icy's gone.
Bolzalamka again ducking from Grief. Shell slammed down and, well, hit couple into the deck, mostly superstructure
Down
hits.
goes Icy.
And we have first blood to Alliance. OM are now down a Montana. So that is half of the big guns gone. Decline is ducked behind the island, but not well enough. Again, there's some arcing fire coming in, but he's returning the favour, hitting Blood Legend in Alliance's Zhao. But it doesn't change the fact that Alliance are currently 170 points up. They have territory control 2-1, and unless they can do something, it's going to get messy. Really, OM need to start thinking about getting into one of these control points and stopping the rot.
Yeah, not having the extra Montana means that their chances of getting a big salvo versus any of the cruisers is somewhat limited. Greece's been making some really good shots on the Des Moines in A, but it's not been enough so far.
Yeah.
But Alliance are just content to just hold what they've got. They know OM can't really push in anywhere right now. They just don't have an advantage in any one position. They're very evenly spread out, and it makes it really hard to push.
Yeah, although we're seeing a little bit of a nudge into point C at the moment. Panic's just trying to wriggle back in under cover of smoke. Of course, what OM know is that the DM of Bolzalamka over on the 2-3 line is the only radar cruiser around, so as long as Panic stays under smoke, he's not in any significant danger. Unfortunately,
makes another good torpedo dodge.
Decline gets lucky with the blind fire, but Panix has left his smoke in order to get to point A, and there are bombers lurking. So the question is, can Andrew 732 manage to get some fighter cover overhead, give Panix the space he needs to work, or is Panix going to find himself having to make an undignified run for it? And the over in point A, Sailor Bell has also managed to work his way up into a cover position. Now that's an interesting point, because with the Alliance team in A, the way they are at the moment, they're going to have to break cover to winkle Salty Sailor out, or they're going to have to get the carrier in to do it, and a gearing loads defensive fire. So torps and bombs ain't going to be shifting Salty Sailor Bell anytime soon. And
yeah, he's got that island perfectly in between him and the Des Moines, so the Des Moines can't do anything. Epherian and the gearing could try and wrap around to maybe do something, but it's not going to be in time to take the cap, and that's all 3 caps to OM now.
Yes, and all of a sudden...
Cohen has a shot, I think.
Yeah, Alka Cohen just taking some parting shots. He gets a... Ooh. Yeah, Sailor must be cursing... Sailor must be cursing his luck. He took at least 1 bow penetration, railgunned the length of the ship, and destroyers being what they are, the shell didn't quite clear out the stern before it detonated, so he's down to 400 health. He is now a one-shot. It only needs... well, it only needs a sneeze, and OM will be down a gearing. But it's now 3-0 to OM on control points. The rot has stopped, and, well, Alliance have got some time to get themselves organised, but they really do need to think about a counter-push. And now the situation's flipped round, because Alliance, they're not quite as thin as on the ground as OM are, but they're still going to need some time to get themselves turned round and grouped up.
Grief really wants Boza dead. Every salvo coming in on him, incredibly close. Just a little bit more luck and Boza's going to be done for here.
Yeah.
He's constantly being lit up. I'm wondering if one of the Hindenburgs might have a hydro to spot him. I don't think so. I think it's just this one dive bomber that keeps coming in and out, spotting the Des Moines for Grief, and then he takes the pot shot when he can.
Yes. Let me just update my camera position. Actually, I don't think OM have got a complete target lock on Bolzalamka. Certainly we can't see him from this camera angle. I think Grief is blind firing.
If so, it's very accurate blind fire.
Well, it helps that Bolja hasn't really moved in the last couple of minutes.
There is that, yes.
So all he's doing is firing on the last known location. He's getting updates every so often whenever Bolja pops his flak. but that's about it. Nice strafe there from Andrew, taking out one of Feld's
Montana
fighter squadrons.
Shells and Des Moines shells going in on the destroyer.
Yeah, Salty is running for it, but only needs one. Luckily, none of those were the one.
Lost contact.
Sailor breaks contact once again, makes a hard turn to get off the target zone, just in case Bolger decides to send a few more random shells his way. But it looks like
back into A.
Aetherian is back into A, so here comes Alliance's counter push. Not enough to stop the rot. OM, in the time they've had all 3 points, have turned that 200 deficit into a 110 advantage. And the fighter scrap over A is heading for mutually assured destruction. There we go. Feld wins, but he's only got one fighter left. And there are 3 more fully armed and replenished squadrons coming in. So whatever air superiority Feld's got over A ain't gonna last very long.
Chryson's making a play for B, and from that position he can cap, and the Des Moines, even if he does radar him, won't be able to shoot him back. So potentially a safe cap of B. Well, safe it can be in this game.
It's as safe as it's ever going to be in this game, put it that way. Alliance just about finished up capping A. Cap B is in progress. The only person in a position to engage is Salty Sailor, but to do that, he's got to break concealment, which means that one shot in the wrong place, even from a Gearing's 5-inch guns, was enough to put Sailor down. So
and Grief finally nailed Boza. Finally, he'd been trying pretty much all game to get rid of him, and he finally managed it.
Yeah, finally found that shot. Finally did enough to do the deed. So Alliance's radar cruiser is gone. Not that that's going to be much consolation to Salty Sailor Bell, who is now halfway across the map and on perilously low health. But Chrysin also
Grief makes another good shot there. Resets Chrysin, forces him out the cap.
Yep, and strips off a significant chunk of his health. Chrysin's down to 1/3 health. Can't really afford a prolonged gunnery engagement either. And there's even high explosive coming down, but that missed. Very long shots there from the Hindenburg of Ulfejaden. I have no idea how you pronounce that. In fact, he's still going for it. In fact, lands some blind fire hits. So at this point, of course, it's just going to be target that explosion and fire. But Aetherian's moving into control point B as well. So Chrysin
some more hits
takes some more hits.
This blind fire is very effective.
What do you expect? It's OM. Unfortunately, in this point, he's breaking cover, and Chrysin... Ouch!
Oh, what a shot from Grief.
Youch! And that...
Beautiful.
Okay, they've got some spotting on him, but they've broken contact now, so I think that was radar rather than blind fire. But, in fact, it was radar from the DM, so not blind fire at all, but yeah. At this point, Grief is looking for trouble. Aetherian's spotted as well, thanks to the aircraft. So...
Cohen's very aggressive into A here. Not quite sure he needed to. He takes a big shot from Grief. Grief is putting in some serious work here. He's the only Montana left on the team, so he has to put in the work where it needs to be. And he's hitting his shots very consistently.
Absolutely. And
Aetherian here might go down.
Shaden also putting in the focus fire onto the Montana as well. And again, torpedoes in the water. Alcaconen's not going to dodge this. But they run out of range. Ooh. Imperator of Chaos must be cursing his luck at this point. That would have been a kill salvo if it hadn't been for those 6-kilometer German torpedoes.
ALN going full aggressive here. They know they've got less than 50 points to make a play here, so they have to contest the caps. Alga Cohen might go down here, and if he goes down...
that's the game. 11,000, 9,006.
They'll have like 8 points left, but... Yeah, pretty much game.
Yeah. However, at the moment, Alliance have got all 3 control points locked, so...
Down goes Albert Cohen to the Hindenburg.
That's 992.
8 points.
Okay, at 905, 5 points, but it's an immediate uncap, but it's also immediately contested again. Lock and Power going all in into point B. Panics, gets some torpedoes away. He's dropped them into Aetherian. Interestingly, so looking for the snap kill there for Aetherian. Panics and moves forward.
Aetherian's getting shot by Imperator of Chaos. He's down to 1,000 health.
And if he bolts forward, those torpedoes are going to nail him. Down comes the high X, but Aetherian breaks contact, gets back into stealth.
But he's on 320 health. More shots coming in. He goes down. That's game.
Boom, that is the game. 1-0 Odem Mortis.
Well, that was a close game.
Yeah, right the way up to the last couple of minutes where OM really did stick it in the bag. But, yes. Right. Slight technical point for a moment, Stunt. I think we should switch to my Discord. I'm still in the occasional bandwidth hiccup on yours.
Yes, let's switch over.
Okay,
And
and
there we
thanks
go.
to the seamless wonders of the internet, we're probably frankly just as stuffed, but there you go. So, yeah, OM very clearly everything. Interesting that both sides were having quite a conservative playstyle to start with. Certainly, if you saw that kind of strategy in a random, there would be long conversations of "get in there, you scrub." But yeah, as we noted time and time again, it's the Montanas that are turning into the heavy damage dealers.
Yes, and although OM lost one of their Montanas relatively early, Grief put in a lot of work. He nailed Des Moines Boza, nailed him nice and promptly, although it took quite a few salvos, it must be said. Got some very decisive shots in on the destroyers of B, decisive shots on enemy Montanas. He was putting in the work.
Absolutely.
He needed to once he took one Montana down.
Yeah, I mean, once you lose half your 16-inch guns, every single salvo starts counting. Speaking of getting things done, we have another giveaway to do. Wargaming have very kindly sent over some more codes for the FTW camos and the Restless Fire flag. Again, this is going to be happening in both my channel and Stunts. So, usual drills, if you've been with either of us for a giveaway before, you know how this works. Stunt, pick us a keyword.
With what should we go with for a keyword? Exclamation mark, quarter for quarter.
Okay, so exclamation mark quarter it is. So drop that into both my chat and Stunts chat to enter the giveaways. We'll run this at the end of the next game in this match. Remember, this is best of 3 and the loser is going home with some consolation prizes. One other thing I need to note is that if you have won anything in the King of the Sea contest from either myself or Stunt, or I believe any of the other casters, these codes all came from the same batch. So if you've won already, there's no point entering again. The codes will not work, and I believe the codes will work on both the EU and the US servers, just in case. Right, they've shut the training room for some reason, so we need to figure out what's going on there. Just give me a second. Right. Boop. Training room. Okay. So something else I think needs to be reiterated is that in the course of that battle, I'm struggling to think if either carrier did a single point of actual damage.
I didn't see a single strike anywhere in that game, so he's done no carry damage at all.
Yeah.
But that's competitive. It's all about that spotting.
Absolutely. Which is why the 422 Hakuryu is so far and away the best choice for this kind of high tier play. If it goes to a late game and there's been a lot of high X flying around, of course that might change. Or if someone's stupid enough to wander off on their own and have a lowish flak ship, then again, that's going to change things. But generally at this stage of the contest, everyone knows what they're doing, so it don't happen like that. Alright, okay, training room is back up. And we are going to need... Actually, no, we can use Hashidate for this one as well. Hallelujah.
Can we?
Yeah, it's got the X4 tag on the map.
It's ranked, not domination. You can't use a ranked one.
Yeah. I've got it set. Okay. Oop. Ah, there you go. And set that. Okay. And just finish sorting out the teams, and then we'll be ready to go for round 2. Alliance, of course, ALN fighting to stay in the match. So, gearing up for the second round of this game. Quarterfinal, round 2 of 3. OM win this one, they go through. Alliance win this one, we go to a tiebreaker. Islands of Ice, of course, generally we tend to see a lot of fighting around B and C. A sometimes tends to be a sideshow, but B's so open that anyone barreling in there who's not in a destroyer is probably going to get shot to pieces, which is a bit of a tension builder, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Island of Ice is one of those maps, very, very large, very open in certain areas. It's I don't know which side I would personally favour on this. B is incredibly open, and because of that, radar doesn't really have the best coverage on it. I think you could probably get a Des Moines on that south island. It's going to be somewhat difficult to get it there. I mean, in previous times we've seen Minotaurs go for that location, and up north in the Sea Cap we've seen a Minotaur rush up to north. I'm not sure if we'll see a Minotaur on either side this time. I think, judging by ALN's approach, I think they're going more kiting, judging by this loadout that I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of works. It's a very big open map.
I don't think we're going to see Minotaurs from either team. They've proven just a bit too squishy over the course of this tournament.
And with the accuracy of Montanas so far, yeah. I mean, no cruiser's really safe, but Minotaurs especially not safe.
Even the smoke firing hasn't really worked for them. Although, well, OM have tweaked their lineup slightly for this one, and I'm thinking Grief has decided to just embrace his role as the team's heavy fire support.
I mean, with the accuracy he had last game, I think it's a good job that he's doing that. Alright, looks like ALN are all ready. Looks like OM are pretty much ready.
Right, so, caster's ready, team's ready, adjudicator looks happy. Just need someone to hit the big green button. I said it just needs someone to hit the big green button.
We'll get there eventually, don't worry. They just got to find the button first.
Ah, yes, that is important.
Sooner or later.
Roken, no, it will not work.
Anyone bring snacks?
We're going to have to edit in some elevator music for this afterwards, aren't we?
Probably. Dun, 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 dun.
Actually...
Why did I go to Jeopardy music immediately? I don't know why.
That raises far too many questions.
Also, is that copyright? Whoops.
Quite possibly. Don't worry though, I'm quite sure that rendition of it will not trigger any automated detection systems.
Yes. I promise I shall never sing on stream again.
Aha! Someone found the big green button. Excellent.
Aha, yay!
Let's get this show on the road. So, as noted, Grief swapping out his Montana for the Dai Senkan Yamato, and I'm pretty sure if I can get away with it, I'm going to have to edit in the appropriate sound bite there. That's not actually contractually required, but it might as well be these days. And Alliance has changed their logo as well. They've gone for an Omri.
Yep,
to
and they've
replace-
sacrificed one of their destroyers. They're only going one destroyer on
placing
this
one
map.
of their gearings. So that would suggest a very conservative play style from them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Alright. That's a suicide with our
Indeed.
players.
Yeah. It keeps doing that for some reason, trying to queue up the various commands. I think you have to wait until you're until the planes are in the air before you can order them to return to base, which is a little bit of an oddity. Yes. Interestingly, you cannot, for some reason, queue a launch, move, strike, and return sequence all at the same time. It just tells them to orbit the carrier. Anyhow, first salvo in the water. Second salvo in the water. Planes outrun the torpedoes and land themselves again, and while Yuzral is busy having a bit of angst, let's see what OM are doing on the map. And right, well, there's a significant force heading to A. The DM of Banambega is moving in position to radar both A and B if he needs to, with the gearing pushing B. Enemy fighters are overhead, but they're going to be backing off fairly quickly once they see the fighters come in, and we're seeing a little probe south towards C of all things, which is a bit of a surprise.
Yes. ALN looks like we've got small force heading down towards C, most of the team heading up towards A. We've got the gearing of Aetherion probing B right now, but thinking better of it, seeing the enemy gearing there, who has started the capture.
Yes. And okay, I'm not going to wait for this flooding, so set that and then send the fighters right the way up to the northeast so they die properly and out of the way. For some reason I did not take as much damage from the torp strike as everyone else, and I'm still trying to die from flooding.
Wonderful.
So just drop a bomb instead. There we go. Right, so bombers safely disposed of, and they're moving off to the northeast, so they won't interfere at all with the game. Alright, so while that little drama is on the way, it looks like gearing on gearing stalemate in point B. OM being a bit more aggressive this time, getting straight into the control points at A and B.
Yeah, ALN Aetherion has smoked up and backed his way into B just to block the capture for now. Torpedoes out, trying to saturate the area where OM's gearing is most likely to be. In fact, yeah, OM's gearing just smoked himself.
Indeed, and both sides have dropped torpedoes into each other's last known position. And I think both sides have seen the other side's torpedoes thanks to the air fight that's going on overhead. So if that hits anybody, I will be very surprised. The question is whether or not it forces Aetherion out of the cap circle. So far, it hasn't.
Aetherian's not moving so far. He's
Point
perfectly
is
clear,
stalled,
not moving.
and yeah, so complete gambit failure from both sides there, and a lot of wasted torpedoes.
I only saw the one launcher at Aetherion though, whereas Aetherion launched two.
Panics and did indeed only drop the one holding a tube in
Massive
reserve.
fighter duel going on in the middle here. It's like every fighter ever is here.
Yes, and there's a strafe coming in as well.
Not as effective. I've
no.
just got out in time.
Or it wasn't a strafe and he was just barreling in to sweep the odds on the dogfight. Interestingly, Striker Man taking over
That's a
carriage
strafe,
instead.
eh?
That's a strafe. Catches Feld on the hop, and now what was, well, mutually assured destruction would seem to be the best way to describe that. It's down to 2 fighters, where there were previously about 6 squadrons. Okay, so just swinging around, taking another look.
I think
Torpedo
that's
bombers,
every fighter off the map right now. Not seeing any
quite,
fighters.
but
Not on our side anyway. We've got no fighters up.
the survivors are having to be recalled and rearmed just to cover the losses. Although there is one squadron still left that's chasing torpedo bombers over by Icy Cream. I think Feld was having a wee sneaky look to see if he could get himself a quick torpedo strike, but all he's accomplished really is getting his torpedo bombers shot out of the sky.
Oh,
Again.
I think we have a drop on Aetherion, just trying to flush him out.
Yep, torpedoes are in the water,
They're not
but
going to hit, and I don't think he was forced out. He's still in, though.
No
He's
no
most
progress on the
dissipating, though,
cap.
so gonna have to move sooner or later.
Yes, of course, the point is that Panic Smoke will also be about to dissipate, but Panic smoked a few seconds later, so he's got that little bit of margin, and Ethereum's broken contact.
Yamato
so
took a pop at him.
Blind Fire comes
Gets a
down.
decent hit.
Yeah. And of course, Grief, I think he's loaded Yamamoto as well.
Yeah, I
as
saw the
his
red shell
captain.
traces.
Yep, he has. He's flying the pennant. So, if he gets first blood, then that will make him very hard to kill with that extra repair party. But right now, he's aiming on Lock and Power.
Farian's being forced to torpedo beat here. I think he's going to do this, well, not comfortably, but mostly...
Locken gets away relatively lightly from Yamato's 46cm guns, taking a mere 18,000 damage despite being broadside. Ethereum's spotted, however, so he's been forced to peg it, and that leaves Odem Mortis 2 control points up.
Oh, what a shot! That's 40k on the Hindenburg of Ufjeden. I believe I'm saying that right. Massive, massive hit. Great shot by Lock and Power. That's a dead Hindenburg if ever I saw one.
Well, if not dead, then certainly highly regretting his decisions, and Ufasian's running for cover as best he can. But,
he's unspotted now, but lingering shells are coming in.
Brandis got a final salvo, and he's on 10,000 and healing up. How much of that he can repair, of course, is open to speculation. Lock and Power, however, paid
for this.
Lock and Power paid pretty heavily as well. He's down to half health. Just under, in fact, and is having to turn defensive. Well, we'll see where those shells go. They're in the air. Phil's trying to skid out the way and evade. Turns in and angles the worst of it. Yeah, so Lock and Power again getting the full attention of Grief's Yamato. Another salvo of 6 460mm shells comes down, and, well, he was angled. Most of it missed. What didn't went through the superstructure, minimal damage there. And Athian's got himself back into point B.
Yes, he has. Interesting to see Yamamoto. It doesn't actually offer any benefits in this scenario because, well, no achievements pop, and it's tied to the achievement rather than the actual act of getting first blood. It's tied to the actual medal itself that pops up in random battles. So Yamamoto here won't provide any benefit aside from looking cool, pretty much.
I think it's mostly... let's be honest here. I think it's mostly looking cool, and that was the captain he happened to have ready to go.
That's his 19-pointer, yeah.
Yeah.
Or one of his 19-pointers, more than likely.
Well, yeah. But no, I think it's just a case of that's what he had ready, and Excerpted is pushing around the flank there, so maybe he's trying to get something into Ilfil and just hunt down Ufasian, who's still having to retreat and disengage. Grease pushing around looking for shots on Brandis. Of course, Yamato, what is armor angling? Sorry, I do not know this term.
He's not been shot at all yet.
That's about to change.
Locken's not shooting him. He's getting shot at by the Hindenburg. Locken's going for the Des Moines of Banana Bigger, who could be in trouble here. Let's see how well these shots connect. They look alright. So they look really good, actually. A couple of pens, but nothing serious. Bit lucky there.
Meanwhile, Ethereum's managed to turn around the capture situation. Zakia and Alberconian are playing standoff in point C. They've got Blood Legend Zhao, and Blood Legend's been remarkably quiet so far. There's a couple of salvos coming out from these blind firing over the icebergs, just getting some high explosive into Icy Cream. And there we go, no fire started, but some minor nuisance damage and possibly a few dead flak modules. And the air war is starting up again, so most of the action at the moment is happening in the AB gap, but Alliance really need to get a couple of kills in, because they're 130 points down right now. Well, 120.
Well, this could be one. Locken's going again for the Des Moines. He's unspotted now, so we're not going to see how well it connects. Watch the shells go in anyway. Shots come down. That's a kill.
Boom, yes. Badenberger goes down.
Well, there's the kill you were talking about.
Absolutely, and critically, it takes out their radar cruisers, so Ethereum now has a somewhat easier time. Of course, he's still got a whole load of planes to deal with, but Brandis is in trouble himself. He's on less than 8,000 health. And there's high explosive raining down on him. More high
Montana takes a shot at
explosive
the
coming
Yamato.
in.
I think he was completely angled.
Yeah, Brandis manages to break away. He's got the train covering him now, so unless there's some last-minute fires coming in, I don't think Brandis is going to take all that much.
Looks like he's gotten away for now.
Salty Sailors probing B again, but of course they don't know where Ethereum is right now, and they do know where... Well, they've just reacquired...
Well, know where he is. There he is, yeah.
Lock and Power in the Montana. The plane's just picked up Ethereum as well, so Salty Sailor knows he can risk a push into B at the moment. And OM...
See's an interesting stalemate right now.
Yes.
Olga Cohen, Blood Legends, the Henri of... I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. They're just content with trading C back and forth, not really taking any damage. Alga Cohen's full health. The Henri's still full health. Bludgeon's the only one who's taking a bit of damage here on the C flank for ALN.
I think the fact that Panix has managed to get down south in his gearing is going to be what swings it into OM's favour, because in a spotting war between a Zhao and a gearing, it's going to come down to who's got the aircraft overhead. So
Gearing's spotted now.
Well,
Apparently.
maybe. Panix just edged a bit too far out of his smoke there.
A lot of shots going in on him. Full Montana salvo.
Well, destroyers. It's called being popular. But he backs up, gets into his smoke, and Panix being Panix has done his usual trick of backing into the control point. So the moment he did realise he'd overextended and been spotted, he could just slam straight forward and get himself out of trouble much faster than he got himself into it. And Zhao's been forced out. Blood Legend...
Boza's making a play.
Blood Legend got forced out. However, the Henri of Zashia has managed to get himself into point C. So once again, it's stalemated. And Ethereum is stalemating B. And the DM of Bojalamka, once again up front, is stalemating A. So it's actually 0 points each. So the scores are deadlocked right now with 8 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. Neither team has made a very decisive push, although I believe, if anything is, I think ALN will make a decisive push on C just to get the map going. They are capping all three. None of them are being contested right now, so unless OM get in, all three caps will go to ALN. Although the Henri might take a few torps here.
Boja takes point A. Ethereum is
safe,
almost complete on point B. And
He's getting reset now by the gearing.
Zachiola's taking some desultory fire, but it is resetting him. That's one of the things the rapid fire gearing guns are very good at. But that's going to stop in a couple of minutes when Zachia, there we go, ducks behind the island, gets himself defilated.
Makes another good torp dodge as well.
There we are. So, yes, they are in point C, and yes, they're...
Those might have overextended here, though.
Covered, maybe. It is a habit of his. Point C is slowly swinging around to ALN as well, unless Panix can get himself back into the point. Boza, yeah, he has gone a bit too far. He's got 2 fires going, but he's going to wriggle his way back into cover, I think. Interesting that he's fired armor piercing at Lil Phil at that angle. I would have assumed...
hoping for the normalization.
Possibly, or he was just firing what he had in the breach and was clearing it to load high explosive. But anyway, he's backed around the island, so currently...
Yep, ALN making a push for C now. Montana, Zhao, and Henri all going for it. Henri's in cover, so he won't get resets. Montana's getting reset, obviously. Blood Legend might still be stealth.
Yeah, and in fact, Blood Legend is still stealth. So is Zashia in the Henri Quatre. And at this point, it doesn't really matter that Albuquerque is on fire and having a wiener roast on his upper decks, because they take point C. So with B locked, that's now 2-0 in Alliance's favour. The scores are starting to swing back. 576 to 556 OM to ALN. That's going to even up in another 20 seconds or so. At this point, I'd say the ship possibly that ALN most want to kill would have to be Salty Sailor Bell in that gearing, just blocking point B.
Yes, they might want him dead, but there's not really any way they can get him dead. There's not really anything that can really deal with him in any way. Ethereum's making another torp dodge here. That's all he's been doing all game, is dodging torpedoes. But doing it very successfully, so not a problem. They'll want that gearing to be dead, but they can't do anything about it. They won't have anything that has a good shot on him. and he'll just smoke up more than likely as soon as he gets spotted. So.
And if anything does try to close the range, then they're going to find themselves right in front of the guns of Icy Cream, who has got a very, very clear firing solution, basically on the entirety of Point B. So
Wells is getting charged by Little Phil a bit here. The other Hindenburg is behind that island stealth firing. Little Phil's exposing quite a lot of side to do it, and the AP is kind of working.
Yes,
in comes the Montana salvo.
I think what they're trying to do is force Bowser to back up and come out in front of Grief, broadside on. Because at that range, if he does that and Grief's main battery is loaded and ready to go... Yeah, Grief is using that 32 mil. He's just bullying his way, but torpedoes are in from the bombers. Here we go, fish in the water, and Yamato, well, she's got that 50% belt. The fighters come in just that little too late.
One on the bow, one midsection.
2, that is probably a flood from the one on the bow. The strafe comes in.
Only one plane down.
One, and there's no disruption effects, so these 3 are going to be straight lining as well. And
looks like it's going to be 2 hits unless it's desync.
Yeah.
2 hits.
Yeah, 2 solid hits, so Grief all of a sudden almost certainly flooded. But as a consequence, Bowser now realises that, yeah, he's got 46cm guns in his imminent future, and he has got to
Bowser and Phil
shove
it
forward.
Out.
But with the amount of damage Phil's taken on that push, I think we're about to lose him. Yep, there he goes.
Phil.
But
Bowser's probably going to be dead to the other Hindenburg, though.
Bowser may not be far behind. It depends on how well he can face
I think Grief's going to die as well.
Yeah, Grief is flooding. He's got no damn con. Well, it didn't require several dozen bombers this time. It just needed 6 in the right place. Bowser's gone.
And here goes Grief, I think.
Grief goes as well, which
Blood's
leaves basically Exorhoritis, who stayed out of that fight and is consequently more or less intact, facing off against Uffijaden, remind me to get hold of the pronunciation guide from the teams for the next tourney, who is very definitely not intact. And ALN are 180 points up. It is 1 control point nil in their favour. B and C both locked. So, if Exorhoritis can get a shot right now, but Exorhoritis has got no reconnaissance, although he knows about it now. There's the high explosive. Ooh, takes a solid hit from the Hindenburg of Uffijaden there. Straight mirror match, but it's going to come basically to who can get the more damaging shots in, and Exorhoritis makes the turn, soaks the worst of that, lands another minor salvo into Uffijaden. Both players will be switching to high explosive at this point. Lock and Power trying for the shots as well, but at that range, even a Montana's accuracy is not brilliant. Wow, salvo from Exorhoritis goes short, plows straight into the water. Really surprised that... there's the high explosive. That's what I was looking for.
Connecting.
Yeah, and they're actually in secondary range as well.
Yeah.
And Uffijaden's got at least 1 fire to deal with.
Is the Montana going to nick the kill?
It's a Montana. What do you expect? So... OM's
Northern is spotted and is charging into the cap towards Aetherion.
Yeah. OM's northern flank has completely collapsed at this point. They are...
And Sailor's going to get dropped here, I think.
And absolutely, Sailor gets dropped.
Yep, here he goes. It doesn't arm.
Yeah, little too close on the drop. A little bit rushed there, but the second squadron comes in just as the fighters get there. They don't quite get it, but Bell's turning away. He eats 1 hit and turns enough to dodge the second. So...
Aetherion making some torp dodges as well here. He's fine from the carrier, and I think he's going to be fine from... Yeah, he's completely safe. No worries.
Yeah, that was speculative into the smoke, and unfortunately with only the 3 fighters, well, Aetherion's had to stay in the smoke, but, well, he's, yeah. He's
I think this one's going to go to ALN.
Danger.
I don't think there's any way OM can pull back in a minute this huge points difference.
No.
Unless we see a couple of detonations. But...
Not unless we start seeing some fluke detonations, but I would imagine everyone packed their Juliet Charlies before they left home. Certainly Imperator of Chaos did. Well, let's be honest here. They probably all had orders to go out in tier 2 or 3 ships and sail broadside round saying, ha ha, I have an exposed magazine, and why have I got a bundle of lit matches round here? But yes, I think ALN are going to take this one on the clock. 25 seconds left in the game. And Salty Sailor Bell finally takes point B, but it's going to be Cold Comfort because there's a Hindenburg coming down the corridor and the Montana closing up as
takes
well.
a torp at the end, but it's not going to kill him off, so...
We are very
that's
definitely...
going to be ALN's win, I think.
Yep, we are very definitely in the dying throes of this game here. Icy Cream just taking some late damage as people farm up the stuff.
There goes the game.
There we go. 826 to 469 goes 1-1 between Odem Mortis and Alliance. Okay. Wow. That was interesting. That was very interesting. I wasn't expecting a game to go to the clock in this stage of the tourney, honestly.
Yeah, so normally most games this season have been 2-0 stompings, but I think now that we're getting into the later rounds where we're getting teams of very equal performance, the chances like this where just one small thing can make a difference, we're going to see a lot more of these 2-1 wins rather than 1-alls.
Yes.
Rather than 2-0s, rather.
Indeed. So, while the teams are sorting themselves out, we have a giveaway to do. So,
yes, we do.
And because it's a relatively short stream today, we actually have a total of 5 prizes to sort out here. So, I'm going to roll my first one. Remember, if you've already had a prize, please say so immediately in chat so I can re-roll it, because these codes are single use only, and if you've already won something from myself, Stunt, or another COTS contributor, this will not work for you. So, first roll goes to Rokenboka. I think you won something yesterday, didn't you?
Time to double check.
Yep, hang on. Grabbing my message
Whilst you're doing
history.
that, I'll roll mine. Gregor Wolf, I can't remember if I've given one to you or not.
This is the other reason we use
Why are they all
Twitch.
at one batch?
This is one of the reasons we use Twitch PMs rather than Whispers, because we can check our sent messages.
Absolutely, yes.
So, Outbox.
I have not sent one to Gregor Wolf. Oh, I think we're good.
Okay, yay. And yes, I did send one to Roken Bokus. So, sorry, Roken, I am going to have to re-roll that. Right, so roll that one again. So, Nightmare, or at least no, I'm pretty sure I haven't sent you one. So, congratulations, code is on the way to you.
Second one, Unicorn Glitterbomb. Definitely have not sent one to you. I would recognise that name. So, congratulations. I will send you your code now.
Indeed. My second code goes out to Capitalist DK. No, I think I'd remember that name somewhere as well. I definitely remember the user icon. That's very distinctive.
Something isn't working properly.
Yeah, I had a problem with that yesterday. I just made a note, waited a few minutes and sent it later.
Okay, it worked second time round.
Yay. So, something isn't working properly either here. Terrific. Yay, Twitch mail.
Alright, roll my next one. Buzzlight 1. I know I haven't sent you one, so I'll send you your code now.
Yeah, okay, that worked. So just a reminder, check your Twitch mails, your private messages rather than your whispers. We're using those simply because it lets us keep a history of what we've sent to everyone. Okay, rolling my next one. Okay, Parallelogram 89. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've not had anything from me. I'd recognise the name. So, paste that. Send you your prize. Congratulations.
Number 4, Parallelogram 89. Definitely
Just one
recognise that
from
name
me,
as well.
so yes. So don't send that. Because unfortunately...
So I don't send it because you're sending it?
I've sent it, so don't send it.
Okay. I'll re-roll that one then.
Okay, and rerolling
Slaughter
myself.
Water Warships. Don't think I've given you one. So
Roll, check message history. I have a bad feeling. Check again. Then again, I could be wrong. Might have been an earlier. Nope. No, it looks like I haven't sent anything to Cruel yet, so... Yep, no, you're good. Congratulations. So, one code coming your way.
and my final one to roll. Oh, Kroll again.
Yes, this is...
Alright, let's re-roll that.
This is getting problematic.
KRS. Let's code.
Okay. Send that. Okay, done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on a second. Hang on. Recheck that outbox. Cruel. Damn it. Cruel, please disregard the first code I just sent you. It will not work. There we go, and just need to roll one final code, and then we are good for the tiebreaker. So last roll there, Gregor Wolf. Yeah, pretty sure I've not sent anything to you. So code on the way, done and done. Okay, right, sorted. So final round between OM and ALN. It is going to be the Atlantic. It is domination. Usual suicide for us once again. And once that happens, we are good to go. I think we'll be going straight on to the Unité Francophone and TWA match after this one.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so one game all, Alliance v Odem Mortis, and everything to play for. I think we might be missing a player, however.
Yeah, I think both.
1, 2,
yeah,
3,
we're
4,
missing a player
5,
somewhere.
6, 7, 8, 10.
I think
Okay.
ALN are missing a player.
Yeah, yes, ALN are down one. Ah, there we go, there's Embrandis. So that should finish up the lineouts to both sides. Once they move me across, there we go. Right. The final battle, the decider. Winner takes all, loser takes a consolation prize. Actually, does that even make sense? Can you say winner takes all if the loser's getting consolation prizes?
Well, they didn't take all then, did they?
No, they didn't.
Also, I think Wargame Pay to Win in the first of the quarterfinals has beaten Kings of the Sea 2-0. The challenge has not updated, but I'm hearing from other people that they might have just won 2-0 versus Kings.
Aha.
I'll confirm that in a minute once the challenge updates. Yep, in the Discord, Wargame Pay to Win 2-0 versus Kings. Well then, Pay to Win into the semi-finals then. And they'll be facing the winners of this one, I guess.
Alright, so just as soon as the teams are sorted and ready, we are ready to go for the final round of this map. And, well, let's see who can pull it out when it counts. Not like that, that is highly illegal. Yeah. Of course, the quarterfinal match that's going to get a lot of attention is the QF3, Surface Contact Unknown versus Omni. Because, again, rather like DHK, although in a slightly better fashion, we just want to see how far everyone gets before the wheels come off. Did even Surface Contact Unknown expect to get to the quarterfinals? That's a question.
Don't know.
Okay, now, where's the green button?
Someone should really make that green button a bit more noticeable.
Carriers for streamers. Well, I'm in Ryushu.
Yep, we're both in Ryuju's over on this side.
Yep, Penguin's in Ryushu as well, so that's all fine. Yeah, everything looks good. So, as noted, just cue the elevator music. Although we once complained we probably held up the whole match while we were sorting out that giveaway. Okay, not sure what the holdup
There's a
is,
button.
honestly. Sorry?
There's a button somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is showing ready. There's nothing obviously wrong in the Discord.
Everyone's said they're ready.
Push button? What's going on in the... Just checking all the chats. Oh. Right. Apparently, Grief's girlfriend is trying to cook him something. Well, I've heard stranger reasons to delay the start of the match.
Alright, here we go. I think we're
Here
going.
we go. Although the weirdest one I've ever heard for delaying the start of something online was "Be right back, cat set the kitchen on fire."
I can envision that one. Living with a cat? Yes, that's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. Again, single gearing for ALN. Henri, Double Hindenburg, Zhao, Des Moines. Looks... Has OM changed their loadouts?
Grief has swapped his Yamato back to the Montana.
Oh, they're back
I think
to
he decided he preferred 12 barrels of 406 to 9 of 460. And two
Did they have
Zhaos,
doubles out
interestingly. No, they did not have doubles out. They swapped one of their Hindenburgs out. So, interesting. Ethereum are sticking with that one destroyer. On Atlantic, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, you kind of want the two destroyers so you can contest two caps at once.
And more to the point,
they're the most mobile things you've got, so...
More to the point, if you need a rapid reaction, or if you just lose a destroyer, for whatever reason, then you've got the option to, well, run away.
I think what ALN are thinking here is that the destroyers, whilst they are useful for the cap contesting, that's all they're good for. They don't have the extra damage from the destroyer, since not many people are getting hit by torpedoes, and, well, the spotting role is already taken by the carrier for the most part, so it's just cap contesting. If they've got one to do that, they should be fine, rather have the extra firepower that you get from an extra cruiser.
I suppose.
That's their thinking.
But, well, we'll see how it works out. Again, we're seeing something that we saw yesterday, a lone DM up on the northern side of the map. In this case, it'll be Baron Bega, just pushing around into C. He's got supporting elements following him up, and it looks like it looks like a BC split from OM, with mostly C, it has to be said. Not all that
ALN
much.
looks like they're going all out A, with just a Hindenburg going C alone. Not sure a lone Hindenburg's a good idea, but everything else is going away.
Okay, that's kind of interesting in its way. So the question will be, of course, will the OM force be able to stay alive long enough to stop what is basically a colossal lemming train? Because at this point, OM are going to be gambling that their delaying force at B can hold off that steamroller that's coming through A and just buy enough time to regroup and set everything up. But once again, oh no, I've almost flooded, so apparently I built my boat too watertight. However, almost there.
First take damage. Grief, who I've been corrected, by the way, that's actually German for Griffin. So,
it's just one of those unfortunate coincidences.
Thank you, Taku.
Yes. So, Banenberger, yep, he's into the island chain northwest of C, so he's got cover and radar if it's needed, and he's in a good position to support Panics as Panics moves up into point C as well. Air War over B. Now, in fact, quite the stomping, and we're seeing a strafe coming in, boom, and precision strafe there from Feld, managed to edge the dogfight and take out Striker Man's fights without hitting any of his own. That's some absolute precision marksmanship there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to assume he has animate small objects off just so the markers for planes don't wave around, because that was a Reddit thread recently showing how it actually makes quite a big difference in your strafing.
Yes, it does, and I think we're about to see a repeat here, although no, it's not going to be necessary. Feld commits to the strafe, but Striker Man took advantage of the gearing flak, managed to break away, strafe misses, and locked into a dogfight. Straight over a gearing's flak, and you can guess how this one's going to end. Well, that's just going to persuade... Yeah, well, not really, because that's a gearing, defensive fire up, maybe?
No. Didn't want to waste it on fighters, I guess, and didn't see the torpedo bombers coming?
And didn't need to, because the torpedo bombers missed by, a few yards in one case, but comfortably by the rest, and pretty much threw away 2 fighter squadrons there. And he's going to have some trouble. Mind you, he has got his primary mission in play. The dive bombers got some useful positional data there before they had to break contact. The Alliance must now know that they've got point A pretty much under wraps, but OM have taken point B. They've got point C almost uncontested. The real question now is whether this force in point C can pivot south and corral Alliance on the, below the G line, basically.
I don't think they will. The Omri, Hindenburg, Zhao, and Montana have all repositioned around about the FG line, so they're not going to let them do that. It was just the Hindenburg, but the Omri and Zhao turned around pretty quickly, and then obviously Montana, a little bit more sluggish to get there, but they've now gone for a more traditional split now. Although they're not going to be in any position to ever contest C this game, I don't think.
No,
so I think C 100% OM no matter what happens this game.
And similarly, A, unless that southern force completely folds, I don't think OM are going to be able to get into that. Both sides, of course, using their turbo bombers for air reconnaissance rather than strike, and as a consequence, both sides now have a pretty good idea of each other's disposition. So we've got basically a no man's land starting in Echo 10 and running down to Gulf 1. That not quite diagonal line running through the centre of the map.
Well, this is taking a bit of a risk here. If he gets spotted by aircraft doing this manoeuvre, the Montana's going to have a perfect broadside shot on him. So if he stays stealthy, he'll be fine.
Boza has been spotted. The question is whether Grief there are the shells. He hung there just a bit too long. Rounds are in the air.
He's not making any manoeuvre. He's hoping to just use the island.
Broken contact.
Oh, big hits. He's down to 7,500 health, and he's burning from a Zhao salvo.
Ilfil got a shot in as well, and now he's picked up as well. And right now I think Griff is yes.
He's much more home in the Montana, I think.
Yes. He's certainly much more used to the guns, and, just having 12 barrels to point at a target rather than 6 or 9 makes a massive difference.
I'm seeing a Yamamoto Zhao from OM, sorry. I know they don't like that getting mixed up.
No, they do not, and Yeah, I think Exorhoritis doesn't really care which it is at the moment. He just knows it's raining high explosive. So he's on fire and he's having to run. Blood Legend gets picked up and some harassing fire going into Lock and Power, but ships are popping.
Getting dropped. And he's actually going to get connected. I think he had defensive fire, but... Oh, desync. Never mind. Thank you, Orbs. Thank you.
Yes. So at the moment, territorial advantage to Alliance, points advantage temporarily to OM, but in terms of stance, I'd say OM are the ones on the front foot at the moment. ALN are comparatively defensive, not least because their DM Bozel Lampka once again taking a big risk and getting into a forward position, but there's really nowhere he can go from there.
Yeah, he's just going to be... Well, now that he's there, nothing's really going to dig him out. So he's got a radar position over B, at least on this southern side of B. I'm not sure if he can actually radar the entirety of B from here. I don't think his radar is quite long enough, so when the gearing sneaks in on the north side, I think he possibly stealth cap it if he smokes up.
If he's very, very careful about it, yes. And speaking of smoke, I noticed that we have a mysterious cloud appearing by Bowser's Island. So that might tempt him to...
gearing.
That might tempt him just to inch forward a little, and yep, picked up a contact.
Icy Cream, I think, took a couple of torpedoes from the gearing, actually. He was full health when we left him, and I saw some torpedoes going his way. So he might have taken a couple there.
Yeah, and I think, in fact, he did, or at least he took some shell fire. He's down to 75,000, and he's currently trading rounds with either Lock and Power or Blood Legend. So rounds coming down. Let's see where these go. He was aiming for Blood Legend, but missed. Couple of jinx and a speed change threw those off. So once again, we have what amounts to a Mexican standoff. Neither side really wants to be the one to push half-hearted, although little probe coming up from A. Agriconian and Brandis having a quick look around the flank, seeing if they can push that, but Grief's on point, and, well, they don't really fancy their odds trying to barrel into that.
Those bombers didn't get anywhere. They went for Grief, but strafed out of existence. Zhao, Gearing, and Montana there. They weren't really going to get through anyway, and then the fighter was just like...
And then the fighters showed up, and it's kind of om nom 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 again. And point C likewise stalemated. We said Alliance weren't going to get into this point anytime in this map, and nope, they're not even trying. Although Lock and Power's having a look at Bananan, and nope, no shots there. Terrain soaked most of it. If your house got hit, tough, go and complain to your insurers.
Cohen took a torpedo there, but Instadamcon or didn't cause a flood. Doesn't.
And Brandis and Alpaconian again forced into standoff. In fact, I think they're actually being pushed back slightly, and that might give Sailor Bell the gap he needs to get into point A and start trying to turn it.
They're focusing down Grief here. Hindenburg shooting him. The other Hindenburg on the other side of X-Horses is shooting him down. Alconian's taking some decent shots. He's got torpedoes coming in as well, which I assume he spotted, but thanks to the fighters. Yeah,
the fighters have lit them up, but you know, with the Montana's turning circle, and he backs off the rudder right now. Yeah, there we are. He's seen the gap. He's trying to rudder. Little of finesse there. And manages to dodge. And the fire's out, but he's only on 33,000 health, and he's still not away from that barrage of artillery that's coming his way. Lock and Power, Blood Legend, Albraconian, the moment he thinks he can get a clear shot on the train. Brandis, if again occluded by terrain at the moment, but another fire going. ALN have very clearly pegged Grief as a priority target. And
they want him down.
And after the last couple of rounds, can you blame them? More high explosive in 20,000 health.
Locken's got a nice shot here. Perfect broadside. This could be a kill shot.
Yeah, maybe. Rounds coming down.
Angling.
Pucker factor 11.
Oh, big hit.
Not a kill shot, but near as makes no odds. On 1,600 health, 530 health. He's damn conned. He's got the fires out, but one final broadside in from Exorhoritis.
There
Boom.
he goes.
There goes the sniper. There goes the deadeye of this match so far.
ROM gets a small shot in on Little Phil, but Ill Phil, sorry, not major, but still a pen.
Yep, and of course the very bold DM of Boja Lampka has also had his flank turn. Bananbeg is now in a position to engage. Aetherian there is popping smoke, but there are torpedoes coming in, so if Boza does try to make a breakthrough from that smoke. He's going to sail right into a torpedo
Ethereum's
salvo.
bringing the smoke to him. He doesn't need to move out of there. They've spotted the torps now. Ethereum's going to have to cancel rudder, otherwise he's going to sail right into that one.
Yeah, we can see the smoke deploying. Safe. It's going to be close, but yeah, there's the starboard turn. There's the torpedo beat. Curse you, Wargaming, for not giving us a proper spectator client, because that would have been an epic shot if I'd had the camera angle. But OM in trouble. They are 230 points down. It is one control point each, although they are taking the B point back, but they've lost their best shot in the Montana. And Panics
gets reset.
Yeah, and again, he's done this time again. I'm going to have to copy this trick myself back into the control point. So if you do need to leg it, because, say, lots of angry people are shooting at you, you can just go full forward and exit at 36 knots rather than 12, if you're lucky. Unfortunately, the moment the point flicks back over to B, Alliance know that he's been forced out, and Lock Power's adjusted his fire. Rounds coming down, actually onto Icy Cream, so nothing more than splash there, but he was looking to take OM's second Montana out of the game there. And OM are going to have to come up...
Montana's dead.
Well, can you blame them after what they've been doing in this tournament? OM, however, are going to have to come up with something, because currently they're 260 points down. They are 2 control points down, and there's 7.5 minutes left in the game. Potentially 7.5 minutes left in the tournament. Decline's trying to push B, but takes some high explosive, gets a fire started. Torpedo salvo roars into point A, and I think Panics. Nope, he's fine. Easy dodge from Panics there, staying stern onto the most likely location of the torpedoes. Yeah, OM... I don't necessarily think it constitutes a massive update, because Alliance aren't the complete dark horses that Surface Contact Unknown were. But at this stage, unless something major happens in the next few minutes...
Locken's going for Banana Bagger.
Yeah.
Hardly anything there.
Yeah, and Decline getting forced out of point B and sent yapping. But Panics is back in, and he's got half the cap done. Torpedoes coming through, and he's smoked. Question is, but can Banana get a radar onto him? Because if he can... Sorry, can Boza get radar onto Panics? Because if he can, then that's going to set up a reset.
He's just too far.
Yeah,
I think he popped it earlier, and that's what was initially spotted him. But now it's either on cooldown or it just doesn't have the range.
Yeah, and there is more battleship rounds coming over, targeting Icy Cream again. Minor damage, couple of overpens into the upper works, nothing significant. But
Alconian's going to take one torpedo here.
Yep, and OM managed to take point B. Panics there, getting the steal in and swinging it round. And this...
Brandis, is he turning into that torpedo?
Hard to be sure.
That's close.
It worked. Looks like he managed to dodge it, but he's still only on 15,000, and he's burning, so could get nasty. That little push up from A, well, they've got out the far side of A, but I don't think it's helped their situation any. Not with the
Icy
gearing.
Cream's taking a lot of damage. He's trying to finish off Brandis. Here comes his shots. And no, they fell short.
Nope. And Lil Phil
is taking a lot of damage though. He's down to 7,500. Here comes the heal again.
Yeah, and he's managed to break contact again. So Panics will be looking to get around the corner of the island and reacquire him for the team, playing the spotter role while the aircraft are elsewhere. But of course, Ethereum's taken a bit of a risk here. He's gone himself into B, started swinging the cap back. Panics has dropped torpedoes into the smoke cloud. Ethereum Snowfall, of course, he'll recognise that coming, and he'll probably have the fighters pick them up. Actually, I don't think he will. I don't think Feld's fighters got close enough to those torpedoes to spot them.
I think we have to do something pretty quick here. There's not many points left in it.
924 to 670. I don't think...
Banana Beacon might go down here to the Montana of Lock and Power.
Yeah, which would buy them a bit more time.
Actually wasn't that great that time around.
Yep, rounds coming in down to Excerpted.
It's going to be very close to game.
Torpedo saturation kicks in, but doesn't score any hits on Ethereum. 951, 686 Alliance to Omni. We might be Odem Mortis. We might be about to see one of the tournament favourites go out. If Annenberger sinks at this point, that will be game. And those are 16-inch shells. Boom!
Yeah,
game. Odem Mortis are out.
Odem Mortis lose to Alliance. Wow.